Hi everybody. So today I'm here to do a bookish video, which includes a wrap-up of books I recently borrowed from the library, a library haul, and a Christmas gift book haul. So let's begin. The first book I wanted to talk about is Battle of the Bookstores by Ali Brady. There is a similar book with the same theme called Battle of the Bookshops by Poppy Alexander, which I have read as well. Both of these books are about competing bookstore owners who, it's a similar in fashion to the movie You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan from 1997, which I still need to see. I really loved this book and Battle of the Bookshops. I think I reviewed Battle of the Bookshops in another progress video. The program that I would most likely attend that this bookstore put on is the one about the Hunger Games, because I have read the whole series, including both prequel books, and I have always loved the Hunger Games. So I love it more than Harry Potter? No, but I love it just the same. And I really loved the dynamic between Ryan and Josie and the buildup of their relationship. This book was a 5-star read. The next book was a book that I mentioned in my Winterween video yesterday, and I finished it last night. This is called Fallen City by Adrienne Young, and Adrienne Young definitely redeemed herself with this book because she came out with 2 new releases last year, Sea of Unspoken Things in January, and this book in September. This book was a lot more interesting than Sea of Unspoken Things to me. I agree with somebody who recently tier ranked Sea of Unspoken Things in a video and said that the plot was very similar to Spells for Forgetting, but I loved this book. You can watch yesterday's video for what the synopsis is, so I don't have to repeat it, but I just love the dynamic between Luca and Marius and the buildup of their relationship, despite the fact that they were fighting, their families were fighting against each other. I gave this book 4.5 stars. The next book that I finished is called The Secret Summer Promise by Kaya Brown. This is a YA romance novel about 2 characters named Andrea and Hallie who are friends, and they easily become a romantic couple by the end, and I love how their relationship develops. So there's also good disability representation because the main character, Andrea, who maybe is this one, I'm not sure. I don't know which character is which on the cover, but one of the main characters, Andrea, has cerebral palsy. She has a more severe case than me, but if I had read this book when I was a teenager, I definitely would have been able to relate to having the same disability this character does. And I gave this book 5 stars for the disability representation, the relationship dynamic, and the summer setting. So I will probably reread this again in the summer. The next book I read was a nonfiction book recommended to me by Olive at a book Olive. It's called The Last City of Z, A Tale of Deadly Obsession in the Amazon. And this is a nonfiction book about the Amazon rainforest and how basically that area is getting deforested so people have wood to build houses. And the city of El Dorado is mentioned in this book. And before reading this book, I just thought that was a fake movie city that was mentioned in a Disney movie. There's a movie that came out by Disney that is kind of unpopular and not as popular as the other Disney movies. It's called The Road to El Dorado, and it's a buddy comedy about people traveling to the Amazon rainforest. I have never seen it, but after reading this book and the exploration that goes on in it, I really want to watch that movie now. The next book I just finished reading is called The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. This is my second book by this author after a book that I read during Halloween called... you know what? I don't have the title of that book in front of me. I'll have to look it up on my... I'll have to look it up on my story graph later on, but this is a coming-of-age story set in Ireland or is it Scotland or Ireland? So we follow our main character, Rachel, who is in her 20s. She's in college. She is dating her boyfriend, James, but she gets in a bit of a side romance with her professor at college named Frank Bird. And basically the relationship between Frank and Rachel is a reverse dynamic to Ross and Elizabeth, because Rachel is 20 and Frank is 40. Frank is much older. Well, Frank is not much older than Ross. I think Ross is supposed to be like in his late 20s to early 30s. Okay, so yeah, he is older than Ross. So as I was saying, this is my second book by Caroline O'Donoghue, and I just loved the characters in this book. I loved her writing style, and I loved the messiness of the relationship between Rachel and her professor. I gave this book 5 stars. The next book that I am currently reading from the library is Close Your Eyes and Count to 10 by Lisa Unger. This is a thriller that is focused around a group of social media influencers playing a massive game of hide and seek. I just started this book last night, and I am on chapter 9, page 104. The chapters in this book are really short, and the pacing is really fast, so I have a feeling I should finish this in about 3 days. The next book is a book I've been anticipating for a while. This is called The Enchanted Greenhouse. It's the sequel to The Spell Shop, which was one of my 5-star reads from last year by Sarah Beth Durst. Elsewhere in the empire of a remote island brimming with singing flowers, honey cakes, and honeyed love, Perna broke the law because she was lonely. She cast a spell and created a magical sentient spider plant. As punishment, she was turned into a wooden statue and tucked away in an alcove at the north reading room of the Great Library of Elysium. This should have been the end of her story, yet one day, Terulu wakes in the cold of winter on a nearly deserted island full of hundreds of magical greenhouses. She's starving and freezing, and the only human on the island is a grumpy gardener. To her surprise, he offers Terulu a place to sleep, clean clothes, and freshly baked honey cakes, at least until she's ready to sail home. But Terulu doesn't want to return home, and as she grows closer to the unwittingly charming gardener, Yarrow, she learns that the magic that sustains the greenhouses is failing, causing the death of everything within them. Terulu knows she must help, even if it means breaking the law again. This time she isn't alone. Assisted by Yarrow in a sentient rose, Terulu must unravel the secrets of a long-dead sorcerer if she wants to save the island and have a fresh chance at happiness and love. Funny, kind, and forgiving. The Enchanted Greenhouse is a story about giving second chances to others and to yourself. So this wasn't intentionally selected for the Friends and Gilmore Girls TBR, but I would say that Yarrow and Terulu are very similar to Lorelai and Luke. So far in this book, I am on chapter 7, page 62. The next book is called The Girls Who Grew Big by Leila Maudsley, who is the author of Nightcrawling. I don't remember which YouTube video I saw this on, but it was in somebody's recent wrap-up for the month of December, and I decided to pick it up upon their recommendation. This book is settled around a bunch of 19-year-old girls who are pregnant and becoming mothers in Florida during the 1970s, I think. So far, I am really enjoying this book, and I am on Emery's chapter. These chapters are not numbered, so it just goes by the name of the narrator. So I am on Emery's chapter, and I am on page 152. So now I'm gonna get into the Christmas gift haul. The first book is a book that my Aunt Diane gifted me because she was getting rid of some books and she offered some to me. The first book is called Big Little Lies by Diane. I have also read by this author Here One Moment and The Hypnotist Love Story. So far I am really enjoying this. The chapters, again, like in Close Your Eyes and Count to 10, are really short, and the pacing of this thriller, I think it's a mystery or thriller, is really, really fast. And there is a series on HBO that Reese Witherspoon is in with Nicole Kidman that I still need to find out. I do not have HBO Max. So if anybody knows if this show is on DVD, please let me know, and I will see if the library or Bull Moose has it. Currently in Big Little Lies, I am on chapter 20, page 126. The next book that Matt and I are actually sharing reading this book. Chandler gave it to him for Christmas, and it's called Then She Was Gone, which is a thriller book by Lisa Jewell. I started this book on Saturday, and I am on chapter 20, page 105. The next book was gifted to me by my sister. She gave me a gift card to Grump and Sunshine Books. This is the second book in the trilogy with All Too Well, which was a 5-star read to me. It's called Here and Now. This book focuses on Miles Anderson, and the female person in this book, she is named Penelope. And so far, I really love the dynamic between Penelope and Miles. I selected this for the TBR because it focuses around hockey, and it makes me think of the Gilmore Girls episode, the big one, or whichever one is the episode where the grandmother comes to visit, and Rory goes to Bill's, the big fix. I don't remember what the episode is called, but it's the episode where Dean is playing hockey, and Lane and Rory run into Lindsay at the hockey game. So, so far, I am on chapter 13, page 131. I just got a package today that was the books that I bought with Lucinda and Jeremy's Christmas gift card to Main Street Bookends of Warner. The first book I wanted to haul from that box was Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This book focuses on a woman named Kenna who is getting out of prison after 5 years and reconnecting with her daughter, who is it doesn't really say what the daughter's name is, but I am starting this book tonight, most likely. Another book that I got with the Christmas gift card to Barnes & Nobles that I got from Paul and Sally by Colleen Hoover was Regretting You, which I will be talking about in another video. Kathleen and I are going to be doing a book-to-movie comparison of Regretting You and Reminders of Him in November. And that review will be on the From Manhattan to Stars Hollow TBR blog that will be linked in the description. The next book that I am hauling is The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This was another book that was in the box that I got from Main Street Bookends of Warner. This was the winner of the fiction award on the Goodreads Choice Awards, and it's basically a book in letters of an older woman writing letters to her family members. And I'm planning on starting this tonight. The next two books were books that Chandler gave me for Christmas. The first book is called Lulu's Cafe. On the run from a violent past, Leah Allen arrives in Rivertown, South Carolina, battered and broken but ready to reinvent herself. By a stroke of fate, Leah is drawn to the southern hospitality of a small cafe, looking for a warm meal but finding so much more. Lulu, the owner, offers her a job, a place to stay, and a new lease on life. Leah quickly finds herself embraced by the quaint community as she tries to pull herself back together. Not long after arriving, Leah meets Crowley Mason, the most eligible bachelor in town, a lawyer and friend of Lulu's. Crowley is weary of Leah's sudden, mysterious arrival. Despite his reserve, something sparks between them that can't be denied. But after all she's been through, can Leah allow herself to truly love and be loved, especially when her first urge is to run? Exploring the resiliency of both the heart and spirit, Lulu's Cafe gorgeously explores how old scars can finally heal no matter how deep they seem. So I'm predicting that the town in this book is going to be similar to Stars Hollow, only set in South Carolina, and that this couple, Leah and Crowley, are going to be similar to Lorelai and Luke. So I can't wait to get started with this one. The next book that Chandler gave me is Matthew Perry biography, Laughing Through Pain by Chris Harrelson. I haven't read this yet, but it looks like it might be friends, lovers, and a big terrible thing, but I'm not completely sure yet. I haven't read this, but I'm looking forward to it. The next book I wanted to talk about is a book I recently picked up at Longfellow Books the other day. It's called Circe by Madeline Miller. This book, along with The Song of Achilles, were my top-rated books in my top 23 books of 2023, 3 years ago. So I'm very excited to reread this again. This is on the Friends and Gilmore Girls TBR because it connects to the episode where Phoebe, Monica, and Rachel are reading the self-help book Be Your Own Windkeeper, which is about embracing your inner goddess. And this is a mythical retelling of Circe, who is a Greek goddess. Currently in my reread, I am on chapter 17. I am on page 226. The next book I recently finished is a book I have to return to Kathleen when I get home from the Boys and Girls Club today, which is the reason why I had to make this video now. It's called Tough as They Come by Sergeant Travis Mills. This is by a veteran who lives in Maine who fought in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I really enjoy learning about his story and how he overcame his challenges of being injured. So I can't wait to review this book with Kathleen for the blog and our wrap-up in April for nonfiction books. The next book that I am rereading for the From Manhattan to Stars Hollow TBR is Winter Street by Elin Hildenbrand. I read this back in November, but I'm rereading it again because it makes sense to reread it before I get the rest of the series from the library. And I am going to probably finish this today. I am on page 208 right now. The final book I wanted to haul today is a book I got from the library last week, which is called Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a YA book that is about... Okay, well, I can tell you what it's about. Corey Fields is dead. When Enchanted Jones wakes with blood on her hands and zero memory of the previous night, no one, the police and Corey's fans included, has more questions than she does. All she really knows is that things isn't how they are supposed to be. Corey was Enchanted's ticket to stardom. Before there was a dead body, Enchanted was an aspiring singer struggling with her tight-knit family's recent move to the suburbs while trying to find her place as one of the few black girls in high school. But then, legendary R&B artist Corey Fields sparks her at an audition, and suddenly her dream of being a professional singer takes flight. Enchanted is dazzled by Corey's luxurious life, but soon her dream turns into a nightmare. Behind Corey's charm and star power lurks a dark side of one that to control her every move and rage and consequences. Except now he's dead and the police are at the door. Who killed Corey Fields? All signs point to Enchanted. Award-winning author Tiffany D. Jackson delivers another riveting, ripped-from-the-headlines mystery that explores horrific secrets hiding behind the limelight and the power of a young woman's voice. I have a feeling this book was inspired by the R. Kelly rape case that happened like 6 years ago or something. I'm really interested to see how this book tackles that theme of what happened with the R. Kelly situation. If that is truly what this book is about, I'm just guessing. The other book that I have read by Tiffany D. Jackson was her new release from last fall called Blood in the Water, which is another YA murder mystery, which I enjoyed. So I'm excited to get started on this. If you have read any of these books, please tell me what you think of them. And again, to all of the gifts to all of the people who gave the books that I received as gifts, thank you very much. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.